Hey there, Team 219. How you guys doing? Hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's, safe and healthy during this time. So, yet again, another story of the week. We are now into a new module, Module 9, Week 1. And today's story of the week is titled, How Did That Get in My Lunchbox? The story of food. It is an informational text. So we have read a bunch of informational text. We've actually read some informational text since we've been doing our online Schoology instruction. So what are some things that you're looking for? We're looking for facts, about specific topics. Obviously, you could probably make a prediction about what are the facts you're going to be learning about in this story. The author may use headings and subheadings, things of that nature, visuals, charts, diagrams. The two things that I want you to be able to do today is I want you to be able to separate opinions from facts. We worked on it the last 2 weeks, so you should be comfortable with that. I also want you to think about what is the central idea of the story. And if you're asking yourself, well, I don't even know what a central idea is, it's what is the story mostly about? And you should be able to support what the story or the central idea is about by the details that you learn in the story. If you remember, one of our student teachers in the first half of the year did that lesson where you sat on top of your desk, and the top of your desk was the central idea, and then the legs of your desk were the supporting details. So again, that is just yet another lesson that you learned to help you with central idea. So if you're not there, please open up to page 285. You're going to see a wonderful illustration for the cover page. And in the top right-hand corner, for my geography friends out there, bonus question, what is that there? Okay. I know some of you guys are probably smiling right now because you have it on the back of your blank workbook. Let's get started on page 286. So remember, central idea, facts and opinions, pulling out the main details. One of the best parts of the day is when you lift the lid of your lunchbox to see what's inside. Your parents have packed it with lots of tasty things to eat. They probably got all the food from the grocery store. But food doesn't grow in stores. So, where did it come from before it was in the store? Just how did this food get in your lunchbox? So right now is a great time for you to, one, either underline important parts, box them up, annotate in your notes section, and really continue to think about facts versus opinions and what is the central idea of the story. Loving the illustrations in this story this week, by the way. We are up to now page 288. Now, take a look at the illustration here. I bet you could predict what it's going to be about just based off the illustration. And notice how in the heading, they pose a question for the heading. And the question is, how did the bread in your sandwich get in your lunchbox? I bet you we're going to learn about that. Paragraph 4. A farmer planted seeds in spring, and by summer, they'd grown into tall, waving wheat with fat, ripe grains at the tip of every stalk. The farmer cut the wheat with a giant combine harvester and sent it to a flour mill. Very interesting. Okay, and they give you an illustration, and then they also provide you with the definition of a stalk. And a stalk is the main stem of a plant. Now, moving over to the next page, notice how they give you an illustration, and then they give you, there's an arrow pointed to it, and it shows you what the illustration is. So for the first one, we see an arrow pointing to a machine, and it says grains. The miller ground the grains into flour, and trucks took the flour to a bakery. Now look at the bakery. For all my bakers out there, I know there are a lot of you. Yeast, sugar, water. What are the main ingredients when you bake? Think about that when you're looking at that picture. Now, as you see, as it goes into the grain machine, what's coming out? Flour. We're up to paragraph 8. Out came fresh loaves of bread ready to send to the store. Take a bite of the bread in your sandwich. Mmm. Crusty on the outside and soft in the middle. Notice also, guys, we're talking about fluency and reading like a champion reader. Notice how I'm reading, right? When we got to that part, I didn't say Say it like you mean it. Okay, I'm loving this next page here. On page 290, 291, you see it almost looks like a timeline. Okay, it almost looks like a timeline. Very important to pay attention to what paragraph we're on. The heading at the top is also a question, and it says, how did the cheese in your sandwich get in your lunchbox? Now look, we're on paragraph 10. Your cheese was once milk that came from a cow. A farmer milked the cows, and a tanker from the dairy came to collect the milk. It also provides you with a definition for dairy. Dairy is a place where milk is prepared for drinking or is made into other products like butter, cream, and cheese. What I'm going to do is, before we get into paragraph number 11, actually, I'm sorry. In paragraph 11, you're going to see it's numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's paragraph 11. They separate it just because of the way that it's set up. So starting in paragraph 11, it's number 1. In the dairy, cheese makers warmed up the milk. 2, and added bacteria to make it turn sour and thick. 3, then they added a substance that animals use to digest milk called rennet. That would be a good thing to put a box around. Good Jeopardy question. 4, and it changed again into bits called curds, floating in wheat. 6, oh, I'm sorry, 5. What comes after 4 or 5, dumb Mr. White? 5 push-ups for me. 5, they drained off the wheat, chopped up the rubbery curds, added some salt, and pressed them into blocks. I love how the illustrations really show to exactly what they're explaining. 6, they stored the blocks for months until the cheese was ripe. Now we're moving into paragraph 12. Bite into your cheese. It's creamy and smooth, but tasty too, and tingly on your tongue. They give you 2 definitions. Curds are lumps that form in milk when it turns sour, which you definitely never want to drink. I've done it before, not a good experience. Tingly, something that feels tingly, stings a little, or feels prickly. Most of you guys know what tingly means. Now we're moving over to page 292 and 293. Remember, annotating, underlining the important parts, separating facts from opinions, and what do you think the central idea is so far? Continue to think about that. So, on this next page, we have yet again another question. It says, how did your tomatoes get in your lunchbox? Paragraph 13. Last summer, your tomatoes were growing in a big plastic tunnel full of tomato plants. The sun and the warmth made the plants grow tall and bloom with yellow flowers. As each flower died, a tiny green tomato fruit began to grow from its middle. Now, isn't that interesting? How they notice as one flower is dying, it's yet growing something else. Pretty interesting. Paragraph 15. Day by day, the plants sucked up water and the tomatoes swelled from green to orange to red. When bunches of ripe scarlet tomatoes dangled from the branches, the grower picked them, sorted them, packed them, and sent them to the store. Again, the illustrations are amazing. They're really giving you a step-by-step process of exactly what's going on, not only with written text, but with pictures as well. Paragraph 17. Pop one in your mouth and squish the sweet, sour juice out. They provide you with a definition of scarlet. If something is scarlet, it is a bright red color. So if you ever go to the food store with your guardian and you see them kind of looking around for specific tomatoes, they're looking for the most scarlet tomatoes, the most ripe. So we are officially on page 294, And the next question that you see is, how did your apple juice get in your lunchbox? All my friends out there that love apple juice, I know there's a lot of you. Paragraph 18. Last spring, the apple trees in the orchard were full of flowers. In summer, tiny apple buds grew from each flower stalk. The buds kept growing, and by autumn, the trees were full of ripe, sweet fruit. Paragraph 19. Pickers climbed into the trees and filled their bins with fruit. Now again, let's move over to the next page, 295. I love how they do this. They bracket it off in a sequential order. Remember text structure from the short read this week? They bracket it off in a sequential order, so it really takes you step by step on how exactly the apples get to the store. A truck took the bins to the juice factory where sorters threw out rotten apples. 1. Then a machine washed the rest. 2. And mashed them in a milling machine, seeds, skin, and all. 3. A huge press squeezed the mash till all its juice ran out. 4. A heater warmed up the juice to kill off any germs. 5. And poured into cartons. Suck hard on your straw to taste the apple tang. All right, now we are up to page 296, and yet another question for the heading. How did your carrots get in your lunchbox? Last spring, your carrots were growing in a field on a vegetable farm. You wouldn't have seen any carrots then, just long rows of feathery leaves. As the leaves grew taller in the summer sun, each carrot root pushed deeper into the earth, soaking up the water and turning orange. By late summer, they had swelled so much that the top of each carrot poked out of the earth. Pickers pulled them up. Again, awesome illustrations. They show you where it started, and then they give you the sequential order of how it got into your lunchbox. Then the carrots were washed and packed into trucks. Bite into your carrot. See how sweet and crunchy it tastes. Ooh, one of my favorites, clementines. How did your clementine get in your lunchbox? Paragraph 28. Early in summer, the trees in the clementine grove were full of sweet-smelling, waxy flowers. As the flowers died, a tiny green clementine berry began to grow out of each one. The clementines swelled in the warm sun, turning from green to yellow. By the time cooler winter weather arrived, the clementines had turned orange and were so heavy and full of juice they made the branches droop. There's a definition for grove. A grove is a group of trees that are close to one another. Again, do you notice that how it's almost like the circle of life? As one thing is dying, another thing is being born. Very interesting. We've heard that more than once. Pickers climbed ladders to reach them. They had to wear gloves so they didn't bruise the tender fruit inside the skin. They washed them and packed them, and the grower sent the boxes in trucks to the market. It's easy to peel a clementine. Then, all you have to do is pop the juicy pieces into your mouth and bite. Most clementines are seedless. Love clementines, one of my favorite fruits. Okay, now we're on page 300, and it gives one solid paragraph. I'm going to read that paragraph now. It's paragraph 34. You've eaten it all, from the first bite of bread to the last piece of fruit. It came from fields and farms, from orchards, from groves, and from dairies. So many people helped bring it to you. Farmers and bakers, cheesemakers, pickers, packers, and truck drivers. And now it's all in your stomach, starting to do the job that food does, helping you grow taller and stronger, and giving you get up and go. Okay, so fantastic story this week. Again, facts and opinions. I didn't really hear that many opinions, but I did hear quite a bit of facts. Tell me some of them. And the central idea. What do you think the central idea of this story is? Okay, and remember, what is the central idea? It's what is it mostly about? Okay, what is it mostly about? Use the illustrations, use the text, use the title of the story to try to help you identify what the central idea of the story is. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you're eating well. Nice, nutritious foods. Miss you guys a lot. Peace out.